Welcome, everyone. My name is Shawn Jones, and I'm the CEO of the iNetrapreneur Network. And today I have the honor and the pleasure of interviewing for the second time a dynamic individual whose whole business, her whole life, career path has been about helping others. Today I have with me Michelle Goss. Michelle, welcome.
Hi there. Thank you. Good to be back again.
I know it's like I look forward to these times because I always learn more about you and what you're doing. You have so many new and exciting things coming out. But before we talk about, some of the new launches, I'd love for you to share a little bit with the audience, those that are watching you right now. Who is Michelle? Just kind of give us this insight as to who you are, and what you've turned your business into.
Well, I'm a horse lover. I'm a horse person by nature, by heart. Was born, I think, with the horse gene, as the joke is. Always had a passion for horses. Didn't ever outgrow it, and just a zest for learning and growing and being better in the world and figuring things out. And the horses have taken me down that path. They've helped save my life, helped save other lives, enriched lives, empower people, just amazing things. I'm a helper, I'm a healer, I'm a compassionate helper and person that wants to share my knowledge and my passion with the world on how horses can help us learn, grow, and be empowered and live a better life.
Working with horses, they're beautiful creatures. I don't care what you say, horses are beautiful. A lot of work to raise them and to work with them, but you have found a way through working with horses that they can help other people. First of all, you own Spirit Mountain, and you share with us a little bit about Spirit Mountain. Let's start there.
Well, the exciting part is it's now going to be called Spirit Mountain Healing Services. We are now a 501c nonprofit organization. So I'm really excited. We're launching the grand opening on April 1st. And we've got some signature programs coming out that are going to be revealed. And we're moving more into what's called equine assisted learning, or what I call horse guided life coaching. Horses help teach us about life skills, self-awareness. We can't change anything if we're not aware of it. And for a lot of us, we know something's not right, but we don't know what it is. We can't put our finger on it. And horses, because they're prey animals and we're predators, naturally mirror us and reflect our energies. And I've got over 35 years of experience working with people and horses. I've been a professional trainer and horseback riding instructor in that. So I've worked with all sorts of horses. I understand behaviors of people and horses. And so I bring it together with my unique past, my education, and my personal experience together to help people become more self-aware, unwind their patterns, become self-aware, and have a choice, on how to do things differently. And then the best part of it is with the horses is they get to practice these skills in real time and get instant feedback on whether that's working or not working. And they get to develop their toolbox of skills, if you will, for better communication, confidence, self-esteem, personal growth and development, relationships, you name it. And, be able to take that experience out into the real world. And if they get stuck, they can go back and remember that experience with the horse and go, yeah, I was able to do this, and connect that. Oh yeah, I remember how I did that. And, live a better life in the present moment like horses.
You mentioned, the whole premise of what you're doing sounds like uniting the individual with a horse. But how does that work? Do they ride the horses? Is it about learning to brush and breathing? Do they walk the horse around? Do they get paired up? Kind of give us a little bit of a teaser, if you will, a better understanding of what this looks like when you work with clients.
Well, there is no riding involved, so therefore no horse experience is necessary to do any of this, okay? Just an open mindset. It varies on what we do, but it is much more than brushing. I will use brushing if somebody's really anxious and needs some grounding. I have different areas at the ranch that we do different types of activities based on if we're with a group or individuals. Majority of the time I let clients pick their horse, or the horse picks them. It usually is the case. And I give activities and tasks, and it's never about completing the task. It's about the process and self-discovery of where we're stuck. And so sometimes there's equipment on them, halters. Maybe I say, here's a saddle, and figure out how to put it on them, or, get this horse to move into this circle without ever touching them. It's infinite, and it's adaptive. It's really, to me, one size fits all, because we're in the present moment and we're working with sentient beings. So everybody gets something out of it at that moment, even if it's just peace and quiet and connection and just being still. I've had clients that come to me and say, I just need some time for myself. What does that look like? I just want to go hang with them in the paddock and just be with them, or if they're in the pasture, and just have some quiet time for themselves. In our crazy busy world that's so stressed out, that's just disconnected, running around, horses don't care about how many emails you need to reply to or what kind of phone you have. They meet you where you're at that moment, and help us develop self-aware and reconnect with self.
Mm-hmm. The clients that you see, what type of challenges are they faced with? Are they suffering? Let's say they're teens. Do they have ADHD? Maybe they're adults and they've gone through some type of trauma. Are there different disorders that for individuals that they come to you that you find that this type of therapy works best?
Actually, basically, it's kind of a joke. If you're human, we all have issues. This will help.
Who doesn't have issues, right? That's like
exactly.
The new norm.
The majority is just that disconnection from self, whether it's a teenager, with ADHD, whether it's somebody's going through a divorce or loss, grief, those sort of things. It's learning to navigate. As I say, we all know we have emotions, but how many of us know how to manage them and how to navigate them when they come up and they become very strong? How do we know how to communicate to those around us what we need at that moment and not get stuck in our process and end up in a big fight? And so I do a lot of teaching around that. We're the only animals on the planet that have the ability to ask why. And we're the only animals on the planet that by thought alone, we can create our own emotional response. So most of us have been down that path. We've spun ourselves up, whether we're anxious or angry or whatever. And because we're ruminating on these thoughts. And it's understanding that. It's usually because we can't find the answer to the why. And this is the power of the horses, because these people, my clients that come to me are, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep ending up in these bad relationships, or I can't keep this job, or, I'm so burned out. I don't know what to do with myself, and so it's unwinding these patterns and using the horses to help develop that self-awareness in that moment to go, oh, I could actually do something different with this. And that's so empowering at that moment, the relief just to know you've got a choice at that point, that you don't have to keep wasting your energy and your time on this, Groundhog Day type of scenario, which we all go through.
And that's very true that we do. When clients start to work with, and I'm going to say their horse, because at that moment it is their one-on-one, does the horse just help the individual to calm down long enough to allow you to kind of get to the deep root of what's going on with that individual? Would that be a good description?
Somewhat, but keep in mind, Sometimes they're working with all three of the full-size horses. I have 5 horses. I have 3 full-size horses and 2 miniatures. So sometimes they're in the paddock with all 3 horses. So it's not a one-on-one with the horses. It sometimes is. Sometimes it's with both minis. Sometimes it's not. So there's a variety of different things. So it's not just individually, it's an individual with the horses. Sometimes it is calming them down so they can breathe for a minute and connect and go, okay, what's going on? A lot of times it's actually seeing the disconnect. An example, a client of mine, an older male, I had him go into the paddock with the 3 full-size horses. I gave him 2 ropes, a purple and a white rope. And I said, okay, wherever you want in this paddock on the ground, create your space with these ropes. And I said, there's no right or wrong here. It's all about you. It has nothing to do with me. And he drew this circle with the purple rope right around his feet. So a very small circle. Okay, well, this is interesting. So the second part of that is I gave him a bucket of feed, what I call a client's stuff, however they want to label it, negative, positive, physical, materialism, whatever. And I said, okay, your task is to take your stuff into your space and keep the horses out of your stuff in your space. And he says, okay. So he walks in and I'm outside the paddock and none of the horses move near him, even though he has food. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Very interesting. I thought, well, this is interesting. So I asked him, I said, what's going on? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, I see, no horses are around you and stuff. What's that like? He's like, I'm fine. And so they still wouldn't come near him. And he was so disconnected. He didn't even know how to connect himself. He couldn't even see he was so disconnected, but the horses showed there was this energy field between him and them that was pushing him away. I actually went into the paddock and brought my energy in to help bring the horses over to start connecting. By the end of this session, he understood that better and was able to actually go back into the paddock without the rope and the feed stuff and actually authentically connect with those horses. All 3 horses came around and supported him. And he says, I can feel this support. I can feel this energy. And he says, I understand what you're saying now about being disconnected and how it's affecting. He could start understanding why certain people didn't want to be around him and, different things in his life, connecting with it. But up to that point, he did not know there was any issues.
Michelle, I will tell you, you and I've had lots of conversations about your horses and what you do. This painted such a visual for everyone watching you right now, because I know one of our kiddos, he's terrified of horses, but just the way that you described, the action of placing ropes, understanding and being aware and using the feed. I mean, what animal doesn't love food, right? I know our dogs, you open up the food and they're already there in the kitchen, regardless if it's their food or human food, right? Yep. And so that was probably very eye-opening for your client when they wouldn't come near him at first until you came in and shifted that energy. And then he got to see, wait a minute, this energy shift is now bringing animals to me. And that does translate to people, people to people. Incredible. Now, do you work with certain age groups? Do you work with just individuals? Do you sometimes bring, let's say it's a couple, maybe they've been having some tensions, where you work with couples or families?
Absolutely. I work with individuals, families, couples, and organizations. I actually pair up with I'm working with several local organizations, mental health facilities, and that, supporting their clients through my horse guided life coaching program to help them move forward as well. And I can custom make groups to fit individual organization needs, whether it's for clientele or on the professional side. We've had a lot of changes on the professional side, whether it's mental health or a widget factory. With COVID and all these things, the disconnect, all of us have had some sort of issues with trauma and personal issues. And, we can either give space for those people to connect with themselves, give themselves a break, and do team building exercises too, which is just some of my favorite things are the team building with groups and that, because it is just amazing to watch how the human herd connects through the horse herd.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Michelle, I would love if somebody would love to come by and meet with you and, and experience your coaching, how can they go about doing this?
Well, you can reach me at my phone number, which is 480-988-2165. You can call, text, or leave a voicemail on there. You can reach me on my email, which is michelle.spiritmountain@gmail.com. And you can always go to the website, which is spiritmountainhealing.com. There are links to contact me through there. Plus there's information about our grand opening and all the fun stuff going on April 1st to launch our nonprofit and really get connected in the community to help everybody learn, grow, and be empowered through horse-guided life coaching.
And if that wasn't enough, you're also a speaker at the upcoming Art of Connection Global Summit, which is March 31st, because you are an expert in building connections. Whether it's really connecting people to themselves again. And so you're going to be up on stage, you're going to be sharing your expertise, you're putting on a few different workshops throughout the event so people can actually experience Michelle herself. So wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of the summit coming up as well.
Absolutely. It's been amazing because I was on previously as I'm going through this process again to see how much I've grown, and now I'm a nonprofit and all these great things. So I'm really excited this time. The timing's absolutely perfect to be out there and share with my passion and love to help people through horse-guided life coaching.
Well, we're excited to have you back, Michelle. Thank you.
Sounds great.
For those of you who have just watched Michelle Goss, she will be a speaker at the Art of Connection Summit on March 31st. You can get your ticket, find out more information at artofconnectionsummit.com.